Weekly Sport with Hamish Mackay.
It is 25 minutes after 4 o'clock here on the Sunday edition of Weekend Sport Radio, live right across the country through until 6 o'clock tonight. Then the latest in news and sport with a great team from 3 News, simulcast here on Radio Live. Well, with me in the studio this hour is Craig Bullock. Craig's about to undertake Ironman in Taupo next weekend. It's, I guess a marker in his life after a tumultuous last 4 or 5 years, going back to 2007, and Craig went downhill. Relationship, business difficulties, plenty of people know about those things. I mean, not the Lone Ranger there, but the onset of depression. It only got worse. He ballooned from being a thick, active 95 kgs through his teenage years and early 20s to be, by the time he was 27, was out to 120 kilograms, pretty much locked himself off from the real world, faked it when he was out in public, put on a smiley face on the inside. He was carving up, absolutely. Not enjoying life at all, struggled to get out of bed in the morning. His parents knew what was going on. They could sense it, knew he needed help. Some of his friends started to, obviously, difficult times, tried to bluff them, tried to blow them off, didn't want to see them, didn't want to have anything to do with them. And of course, as we say, the point that he's got to now is he's got a smile on his face and he's about to do Ironman. But there was a bit of getting there. And there was an event, a flatmate of yours, similar situation. This is not going to be easy for you, Craig, but talk us through that.
So, yeah, it would have been sort of 3 years ago now. Daniel had been living with me for a year. And obviously he had depression and such like. And like me, he was great at hiding it. I never knew it. I never saw it. No one else living with us never saw it. And then we ended up having, one Saturday night, we ended up having I think it was a going away shindig at my place, and he was with us and having a great time. Well, what we thought was a great time. And then come Wednesday afternoon, the police came knocking at my door, and they sort of came in, and I was running the business then, so I sort of thought, oh, bugger me, what have I done wrong here? Yeah. But, they sort of said, well, no, there's Daniel live here, and rah, and sat me down and told me, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. For a guy like that, he'd possibly be one of the brightest people that I've ever met. He had everything going for him. He was a badminton rep. He was the Ducks at Rotorua Boys High and stuff like that. So it can happen to anyone. And he hit it. He just hit it from everyone.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what happens? What's the fallout from his taking his life?
Well, I'd never met his family because they were living down in Wellington. So I ended up seeing...
What age was he?
He was 23, 24. Yeah, so it was... seeing how it affected his family was heart-wrenching. That's something I will never, ever forget. It was just to see the love that they'd had for him and the thought that they'd let him down.
Did they know? What did they know about his condition?
Nothing.
They didn't know. See, I'm just gobsmacked that you going through what you were going through, and he's in the same house, and you couldn't pick his symptoms.
I couldn't pick it. No, couldn't pick it at all.
Yeah.
And I've sort of... It took me a while to get over that as well. I sort of beat myself up about it, knowing that what I'd been through and not being able to see it in him. But even his friends, when at the funeral and stuff like that, they would be saying the same thing. He hit it well.
Yeah. Was he busy? Was he active? Was he into his career, his studies? What was he?
Yeah, he was a pharmacist. He was running a pharmacy in Hamilton, and ultimately that sort of he ended up taking pills from there, and that's how he finally ended it. But yeah, it's sort of like I say, he hit it, and I guess at some points I was just so wrapped up in how I was feeling, woe was me sort of thing, that I couldn't see how he was feeling.
This is like the two of you under one roof.
Oh, I know. When you think there's 1 in 5 of us in New Zealand that suffer from depression, so you get in a group, there's always going to be people.
Yeah.
And it's how they deal with it, that whether they're open about it or not. I think a lot of people do just hide it away.
Yep. The agony you saw in his family, and the pain at the loss of him, his loss, he passing away. What did that trigger in you?
Stopped me from doing it.
Yep.
I just saw the hurt that his family went through, and at my lowest point, I could see why people would do it.
Yep.
But there was just no way that I was going to put my family through it. I always say it. I feel as though I've got the best family in the world, but everyone's got a great family.
Yeah. So what did you do? Set yourself down, give yourself a slap? What did you do? What was the process? What was the start of this turning point?
There was a good hard talking to myself. And cheesy as it may sound, I saw JK on the TV.
Yeah.
The adverts came on.
What did you think of those?
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Seeing a guy that, as a kid, that I'd looked up to as a childhood hero, coming out and talking about that, talking about depression, talking about more or less exactly how I was feeling. My respect for him was just outstanding. It was brilliant. I sort of get choked up about it because it is, even though they were just adverts, it was how I was feeling. Were
you about 8 or 9 when they won the World Cup in '87?
In '87, yeah.
See, that's impressionable because he is. He's an absolute rock star in your eyes, isn't he?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. He's an amazing guy.
Yeah, I when I sit down and I think about it, I think the 3 letters SIR, as in Sir, can't be too, you think of some people who what he's done and what he'll continue to do and the spin-offs from what he's done. I just think John Kirwan, just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think, but to be honest, I'm sorry for cutting him.
No,
he was bloody good as a rugby player and all that sort of stuff, but now what he's doing is just, words can't describe it.
Okay, so you've said to yourself, you've seen the John Kirwan ad, you said, I'm not going to do this to my family. What's the next steps?
I ended up going out. I got his book, read that. Reading that, there was just so many parallels between what he was feeling and what I'd been through, sort of the anxiety in crowds and more or less hating yourself and not liking life at all and all that sort of thing. The thoughts of that you're not good enough. And I just read that and I just went, wow, this is an All Black. He's talking about it. Right, I'm going to do something. More or less looked in the mirror, gave myself an uppercut and just went, bugger it, I'm going to go and buy myself a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Went out. It was a tough day to go out and get those shoes. We got them.
Yeah.
And pretty much the rest is history. Yeah, it was a slow journey, strapping the shoes on, and my first run I think probably lasted a couple of power poles and more or less keeled over, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But after that, it was just I just set goals.
Yeah. Okay. Incrementally, how much better did you start to feel?
Oh, after that first run. First run, knowing that I'm going to get back to the bloke I used to be.
Yeah.
I've hit rock bottom, and I guess hitting rock bottom, you do have to learn what that's like down there. And then I just thought, right, the first run, 5-10 minutes, whatever it was, and after that, I just started feeling great.
Yeah. So you had a few runs, and what was it like the first time you called somebody in your family or a friend and feeling a little bit better about yourself? Well, do you the moments like that you remember?
Oh, definitely.
First time when you ring somebody and you're not actually faking it, you're actually ringing them because you're feeling okay.
I think one of the ones that does stick out in my mind and is I've always been the family clown, so I've always just more or less taken the mickey out of the family and stuff like that. And I think I was doing that one day, and my dad's just turned around and said, "Right, we've got Craig back."
Yeah.
And that was the moment where I just knew, I'm getting better.
Yeah. And what was, I guess, also what was your sort of interpretation of their sense of relief at that?
Oh yeah, it was just like wow, we probably don't have to sort of wrap him in cotton wool anymore and all that sort of stuff.
Because were you on watch, so to speak? Were they keeping a pretty close eye on you because they didn't want you to go down?
They probably won't tell me that it was, but like, at some point, in my lowest points, when I think about it, the brothers or mum and dad would just turn up to the house at random times, and I'd be like, more or less, what are you doing here, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you've started a bit of jogging. You've given yourself the uppercut. You're watching the JK ads. What else comes into the mix to push away the black clouds and let a few rays of sun through?
To be honest, I was given antidepressants to take by the doctor.
But these things are good, aren't they? I mean, they what was your, because you hear mixed reports about them, but at the end of the day, you hear from people who have depression say you take them, and for some people, I guess they have side effects. Others say, no, they made me feel like I wanted to feel. Yeah, how were they with you?
For me, they got me back to the way I was. Admittedly, I think sometimes, this is just my own opinion, that doctors just fire them out willy-nilly.
Yep.
They don't really get to the heart and soul of what's going on. And they just go, right, you're feeling a bit low, we'll chuck you these. But I saw a counsellor, and that was amazing. Being able to speak to someone about how I was feeling, that I knew wouldn't judge me, even though I know my family and friends wouldn't judge me. But
that's one of the things that I've noticed in the last 20 minutes is you were constantly concerned about how people were feeling about you, and you were just beating yourself up.
Oh yeah,
you saw yourself as worthless, didn't you?
Right? Definitely. Yeah. Anybody I met, spoke to, my family, anyway, I just thought everyone was just judging me, and I just felt as though, like you say,
really is they weren't they, were they?
Oh no, definitely not. Heck no. And that's just the way I was feeling, and that was part of that dark cloud that, like even if I'm when I was in a group and stuff like that, I'd just shut up. I wouldn't be speaking because I'd hate to think what people thought of me.
Yep. Okay. 2nd, 3rd, 10th, 20th run. What's happening?
I'm actually starting to get motivated to get out and run. Yep. I used to hate running with a passion, but now it's sort of just getting in the routine. After 5 or 6 days, just getting out there and feeling as though the day that I missed a run, I'd be like, bugger, I missed a run. I've got to get out there and do something, because it's just the feeling of, I suppose, the endorphins just.
Yeah, how good were you after a run once you started to get out, 5-10 Ks?
Oh, brilliant! It'd just be sort of, you run home, you get home and go, oh, bugger, it's finished now.
Were you at that stage? Did you look back and go, were there sort of, I guess, a sense of smell, a sense of a location, or somewhere that took you back to your darkest point, and you could just look at it and go, bugger you, geez, I'm pleased I've moved on from that, or I can feel that's behind me.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the room that Daniel rented off me, I look at that room as being if I just more or less go in that room and just, if I feel down, I just go in that room and I just shout at the top of my voice, because I just don't like it. Because I know how he must have been feeling, and I know how I was feeling. So just that room, sort of, that's where it sort of feels out. It's is the dark spot. So my parents will sort of know that I don't go near that room.
Yeah, it's a remarkable twist of this whole story. So you're on the road to recovery, so to speak, with your running shoes on, and things start to take a turn for a better, and then you start to set some goals. We'll get onto those, because you, as I say, what are we, 6 days away from Ironman?
Yep, 6 days.
6 days away from Ironman, and another huge sort of stepping stone on your path to recovery. We're with Craig Bullock. You may have seen Craig with Michelle Pickles on a recent TV3 story in 3 News. Craig next week is taking on New Zealand Ironman in Taupo. I'm sure we quite an achievement for someone who only stopped himself committing suicide when he saw the collateral damage of it when a friend did just that. And we're talking to Craig about his battle with depression, how he came out of it, and what an inspiration John Kirwan was. We'll come back and talk more with Craig Bullock in a moment.